Hello, I'm going to show you how to put together ARCS tower and some of the stretch goals. So first of all, I put together the base of the tower. So that's that. Also you can put in an extension piece if you like. You'll find them in the pack. Then I put together the sides and the rear, just the open lock clips. And put that down on there. There you got your first layer, and then just build up layers like that. There we go. We have our first layer. Okay, put that to one side for a second, and then build an ARCS room as per the ARCS instructions videos that are out there. Then you can put on top piece and you orientate it so you've got some doors, door at the back if you want, and you can have the new balcony door at the front. I've got a big window here and the window piece is there, but you can do any arrangement you like. And then put on this piece, and let's just clip down into place, and that's already really solid and should be fine to work. But I included this piece so it will really lock it all into place. There you go, you've got a really solid floor now. I use this tool. It's an old bandsaw blade, ground down to be a blade, but you can use any thin kitchen knife or something like that for releasing my clips easily. But that's up to you. Right, so now if you want to put a floor in, so we want a floor in here, and we're going to put a floor in here. We're going to leave the base empty. Oh, actually there's these parts here can go in the bottom. Optional. Okay, so first of all you get these, and they have little clip holes in for these clips you can put on if you're worried about deformation of your model or anything like that. They just push in here because during the rather extreme heat that we had recently, my things did start to sag a bit. These are easily replaceable, they're quite quick to print, but also the sagging, because it's uniform over the whole model, really doesn't make any difference to the functioning of the product. So it's not something to really be concerned about. Okay, so these go in like that, and they hold in place kind of. You can put that in there and then bring them out to halfway, and then you can slot that in like that. And if you want to push clips in, you just get the clips the right way up, and push them in. It's a bit hard from over here. Sorry, it's a bit fiddly. And I've got it upside down, so that's probably why. It's a bit tricky for my old hands. There you go, and just clip them in, and they'll hold it in a position better. If you're a bit worried about it bending or anything, but it's not really any need for those at the moment. So put that in, and then I carry on, put another floor in, and they go this way up, that way round. Actually, you probably didn't see that, did you? They go this way up, yeah, this way up with that bit like that. There we go. do the same again, put those in like that, and there you've got your 2 floors. So then put your roof on, and this is the railings here are covered in a video that I'll tag onto the end of this, but I really like them. I like the way they look, and I found it quite nice putting them on. These also have pieces underneath that you put on. They get permanently attached. If you want, you can glue them, or they just push in, and they kind of fill in that gap there a bit. Clip those in there, and then that should go on there. If yep, got all the clips, so those go on there like this. If you want to put a balcony on the side, you do that, put that on first, because these fit around the balcony like that. So it's the only way you can put the balconies on first, unless you put it on the back. If you put it on the back, it's fine. So then you just push that in place, and now you've got your working things. Right. Next thing is a fire escape. So again, I build up pieces like this with the railings, push those all into place as covered in another video, and then I put in the fire escape pieces and build it up like that. To the desired height, and then I've knocked off my way there. Push and glue all those on if you want. There you go. Everything's been sitting there for quite a while in the unbelievably hot sun we've had here. And then you just find where that's going. It's quite difficult when I'm sitting down. And get each one into position, and then clip them home. And the bottom can have a little ladder, and then it can, if they need to. Right. And then, just in case, it should be stable even if you pull out both drawers. It shouldn't really tip over. But just in case, I've added some feet to the front. There you go. You can either glue those in place, or just push them in. So now making the flex ARCS. So you need 2 opposite connecting parts with an open lock clip on them, and then you just flex those in, and they just stay put. And just pull them out, and then pop that on there. And then you take it over to the building. And there you go. So moving on to some of the stretch goals. Balconies. They are in a few pieces. So there's a new wall connector, which has this piece here, which has extra open lock clip place connect sockets coming out for the balconies, and you just put those in there and then clip it into place, and then you've got 2 floors that you can pop in, so you can have a bit of variation as well. So there are 2 types of balconies and 2 types of floors. Okay, this is the fire escape bottom, security entrance thing, and it comes in a few parts. So this turnstile part you need to print out 4 times, and then they just push onto each other like that, and then that goes on its peg there. And there's a roof which fits on there, and that holds that in place. And then you get one of the fire escape ladders, stairs, sorry. Connect it in, push it in, and then that goes there. And then you've got a kind of security entrance to your tower block. So I've got 2 parts here from the roof stuff stretch goal. This is a comms tower. It's quite big because so it's printed in 2 parts, and I've got a water tower here, and they can both work independently. You can just put them on the roofs like this, and with one of the ladders, you can put that there, or you can put the railings across like I've done on that side, and have that like that. Obviously glue this, I want to glue that down. But super glue will do that just fine. But you can also combine them with the fire escape security entrance by connecting them to the stairs. So if I put a light clip in there so I can demonstrate a bit easier. So that will clip in like that. Obviously they can work together, so you can clip them together and do a ladder that way, so you've got one objective like that. This will also, this is a light clip, this will also connect like that, and you could always put the ladder on the other side there, or this side, and then they will also work, so you could connect that up there, and then you could connect this over here. You can either use this shorter connector to connect them up, or you can use a slightly longer one, and they could go like that, and you could have some sort of objective there. And also it will go this way, and you can connect it like that. So there's different combinations you can do. You know, you can put in those bridge parts I've included just for an extra bit of variance. You could not have the railings there, and then you could put the ladder in as well. That side, and you just put the ladder in anyway, and they climb over the railings, and so on and so forth. And so that makes a nifty little extra bit of scenery that is a bit of a bonus. Oh, one thing I've thought of that I haven't checked is I think these would probably work with the flexible platform bridges from Ashpocalypse campaign. I'll have to check that out, but I think it could, and then you could make, these could be part of, if you've got the Ashpocalypse set, these would be quite a good addition to that too. They'd probably fit in quite nicely. Another part of the roof stuff stretch goal was skylights, so I've made some large ones so you can put them in big holes, but also if you do half of that, if you imagine this, because this is half a, I can pull that apart. So if you did half with a actual with a one that didn't have the cutout, you would put one of these half ones in. So you can build them with so I've done templates here that you can cut around to put them, but I've also done, so they're also like a mesh, so you could just use those if you wanted to, and they look kind of industrial and quite nice. So these will all come with they're supports, so it makes them easy to print. These go inside various parts, and when you come to want to take those easy print supports off, of course you can print them however you like. So I've included ones without these on. You just separate them out like that. I use my thin tool, and they should just click out. So just run that along there, and that's and there, and then I mean when I did this one, these just sort of fell out. So these are in two parts like this, which sandwich together. So I would then put in my either cut out bits of plastic that I would use, like anything under 0.5 mil is fine. So I've used the acetate that goes at the end of when you bind things together, like a dossier or something like that. And you place those in there like that. Just get them in there. There we go, and then that sandwiches on the top, and you just push it in, and there we go, and that's ready to go. So these are the parts that go at the front of the roof. So they just open up, clip together, and then we'll take those off. Underneath, they just pop in those holes like that, and you can either glue them in place because they'll attach to their particular piece, and you can still open lock clip those apart for storage, and that just goes on there. So if you want to make an extended version, you just make your ARCS or intergalactic room up however you want with the extension pieces in. I've gone one extension piece. You could go more extension pieces if you like. I'm not sure how many it would be able to handle, how far you would go, but I mean, it might be able to handle it. I'm not sure. I've not tried it out, but I think maybe 2 is wide enough. But I've included the parts, so you could obviously keep going there as wide as you like, you know, so on and so forth. But well, that's up to you and however you want to do your city. So these just basically fit in like that together, and push down like that. And the same here. If you wanted to print more of those, they would just fit in right there, and you could go, you know, as wide as you like. And the same there. That holds that fairly steady. But if you put that in now, because of the nature of how this piece frequency is different to the top pieces, it will lock them in place quite strongly. And a very solid part. There's a little bit of flex, but that's the flex in the wrong direction. So the flex would be that way, and it can't go anywhere there. So that's fine. So this is the extended version frame. Obviously you can print out more of these and keep going if you wish, but it would have some interesting effects maybe on the stability. I don't know. I've not gone that far. This seemed far enough for me. So again, you clip all these bits, and this is a special bit for the back, and those bits go out towards the back, so it's flat at the back there. Don't get them the other way round because it won't work. Yeah, so oops, that should go flat across the back there, and you can obviously put in more of these and then keep going across. So there's that bit, yeah, and then you just keep building floors up like that, as in the previous one that I showed. So yeah, you can also put in these optional parts for the bottom. So it can be a solid floor, so you can have that as a parking garage or something like that, or storage area, locks and things. So if I now get this, and this should hopefully go on there. Get it in the right place. There we go. Needs the top to lock it all into place nicely. Click that in. There we go. And now put in this floor. There we go. Put that in there. So the roof, the roof has a special clip, open lock clip, like that. It's longer, bridges that gap that is created here. That's got to be. So that goes in there. And I'll put a balcony in first, here, so you can fit around it. Get it in the right place. There we go. That clips in there. There's a balcony for the rear. You can put that on there. There you're done. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you how to make the railings on the ARCS towers. So first of all, I get a bit of old filament and find the end. Roughly measure around, so I've got enough. Clip it off and do another one. So I've got two roughly the same size. Then I'll get the first bit of railing, put that through. And stop it going anywhere. I'll bend those round. So it at least stops coming off a bit. And then I'll put that on. There. So it's just roughly in the right position at the moment, because those things are in the way. I'll clip those off in a bit. Actually, let's make them a bit shorter now. You're better off doing it with these two parts separate. So maybe I should do that. Oh, I'm going to leave them together. Be all right. And then you just start threading the railings supports on. And pushing them in. There we go. And then get the next one. Feed that around. And you manipulate this so it's going to go in the right place. So I just use my fingernail to push it into place. And you can push these so it provides a bit of tension on them all. And that generally holds them in position, although you could glue these in position if you wished, which might be easier. but they should be a push fit. You might need to wiggle the holes a bit to get them right. There we go. But they should just push in. Some of the holes might have collapsed a bit in printing, will be a bit deformed. They're a hex shape, but you can and it's mainly this part on the supports here. Oh, that is printed down on the bed, and sometimes there's a bit of like elephant's foot there that you can get off. Maybe if you printed it with a brim or something like that. So get that off and it all should go in all right. I've made them a tight fit rather than a loose fit because it's better to, you know, on site work, get them to fit rather than me try and second guess your printer and your filament. Okay, now just keep going. I don't know about you, but I find doing these things, it's a bit like basket weaving or something. You know, it might seem outwardly for a bit of a laborious task, but doing it can be quite restful, meditative. That's what I tell myself. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to use these flat-sided ones because it doesn't go under, so like these ones. So these ones go flat to the surface. You have different types, and let's put these in. And let's bend that round. There we go. You can make that more of a positive bend by manipulating the filament. And then push that round like that bit. Get this last one in. There we go. Push that. And there we have it. Push those round, that's all. Lock it a bit. Position, and cut those off. Whatever you want. And there you have it. Railings. They all look all wobbly and nice. So putting the railing on a balcony can be the same as putting the railings on the roof. Here I've got remains of a brim thing, some brim ears there. I run my scalpel around. The great thing about ARCS is things can look rough and ready, and that's the whole point of them. It's the atmosphere of the thing. Everything's a bit rough and being used. So these might need a bit of getting rid of where the filament has quite bridged 100% accurately. You can just run your scalpel through there, or if you've got a 2mm drill, you could do that. Okay, and then you get a piece of filament, and I'll cut a little angle on it like that. Makes it easier to feed through. And we'll do our first attempt to feed it through. And just push that through. If you go too far, you can push that back, go through. Just keep feeding it through. There we go. quite, almost. There you go. Then you can sort of manipulate and bend it into shape, much like did the roof ones. So yeah, happy with how it is. In the opposite direction to the bend. Get these and you can put some bends in it so it looks like it's been worn. Angle them a bit if you want. And then just snip them off when you're done. There you go, got a balcony ready to go.